Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Wrestling Experience. My name is Earl Cole, and tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we've got a massive, and I mean a massive show. We're going to talk about AEW Dynamite Grand Slam Mexico that took place last night. We're going to discuss SummerSlam in great length, and we're going to talk about wrestling news. Plus, I have some breaking news, and it's not good for Rhea Ripley. We're going to talk about that and so much more here tonight. Tonight, on a jam packed edition of the Wrestling Experience. All right, folks, welcome back to the Wrestling Experience. I want to make sure that you all hit that like button. Hit the like button and you subscribe today. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Body slam that like button, if you will. All right, folks, we have some breaking news for you. And hello, King. How's it going tonight? All right, folks, this just happened just a few minutes ago, and we have to break this breaking news. It's all about Rhea Ripley. Unfortunately, folks, it's not good. Rhea Ripley officially undergoes knee surgery and announces she is out of WWE indefinitely. Rhea Ripley took to social media to make the announcement after being out of action since the clash in Italy. This comes after Chelsea Green won the women's ladder match at SummerSlam to officially be crowned the new interim WWE Women's Champion. So Rhea Ripley is no longer the WWE Women's Champion. She had to relinquish it. So therefore, Chelsea Green, since she won the ladder match, will now have the interim removed, and she will become the new women's champion. Now, this is all going to be official. I'm going to assume when we get to SmackDown tomorrow night in Philadelphia, and I'm quite sure Nick Aldis will address this. So again, if you didn't hear the announcement, Rhea Ripley is out of action indefinitely. She had successful knee surgery. She will be on the shelf indefinitely. She is no longer the women's champion, and Chelsea Green becomes the women's champion. All of this will become official tomorrow night in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, when we get to SmackDown. So that is something breaking for news, folks. That is something breaking. Excuse me. So, as I said, King says we'll never see a new women's champion. We will see a new women's champion. Yes, we will, King. Yes, we will. Chelsea Green will be crowned the new women's champion, and she won the ladder match. As I said, she won the ladder match. So that means she will become champion once we get to SmackDown this coming Friday in Philadelphia. I'm sure Nick Aldis will address all of this, and he will address Chelsea Green because, like I said, she won the interim belt. There's no reason why they couldn't remove the interim and make her the new champion. So Excuse me. Congratulations to Chelsea Green on becoming the new women's champion after Rhea Ripley is out of the WWE indefinitely. All right, folks. All right. So that's the news on Rhea Ripley, the championship, and everything else. King says Oba and Braun stare down was awesome. Yeah, I thought that was awesome. We're gonna talk about that. Jeffrey, how's it going tonight? Jeffrey, hit the like button. Everyone in the chat. Excuse me, everyone in the chat, smash that like button. I enjoyed Big Cass' return on Monday. Well, not a lot of people did, King, unfortunately. Well, okay, so as I said, if you all just popped into the chat, Rhea Ripley is out. She had knee surgery. We're going to have a new women's champion in Chelsea Green. So congratulations to her on that. All right, folks. All right. I low blow the like button, if you will. Okay, Chuck. Okay, Chuck. All right, folks. Let's talk about SummerSlam. Let us talk about SummerSlam. SummerSlam took place this past weekend in Minneapolis, Minnesota, at the US Bank Stadium. And I'm going to tell you something, folks. This SummerSlam has been talked about over and over and over again. I thought that I'll give you my thoughts. I thought the matches were the matches were overwhelming, to say none the least. They were overwhelming. Some of the matches were slow. Some of it booking decisions didn't make any sense, and it was also marred by low ticket sales. So WWE didn't announce the ticket sales. They didn't even announce the attendance for SummerSlam. I thought night number 2 was vastly different and better than night number 1, but we're going to get to that in a minute. Excuse me. So SummerSlam took place. All right. Let's talk about this first one. Liv Morgan took on Io Sky. Io Sky for the women's championship. Night 2 was better. Yeah. I agree with that, Jeffrey. The match was fine. The match was all right for what it was. But here's the thing that I don't understand. Liv Morgan has as a champion, her title reign has been abysmal. And I totally agree with everyone here when I say that her title reign has been abysmal. She hasn't defended the title at all. I mean, SummerSlam was probably the secondest title reign she had so far. She doesn't do anything. You know, it's like Becky Lynch said on Monday night. She's like a valet. She don't defend that title at all. And I was like, what is going on here with WWE in this booking? And I don't understand something too. In the media scrum, one reporter asked Triple H, why is the same people getting pushes and not other people in the locker room? So this is what Triple H said. Great women's match between Liv and Io. I thought it was all right, Jeffrey. I'm not going to jump up and down about it. I thought that it was good for what it was. It was a little slow in the beginning. It picked up in intensity later with the moves. But here's the thing that I don't understand, and follow me here. Follow me. Triple H said in a media scrum in the press conference after SummerSlam, somebody asked him why the same people get the same push and you do not push others. Okay, so he says if you're not Cody Rhodes, if you're not Roman Reigns, if you're not Jay I think he did mention Jay Cargill and Io Sky. Those are the people they push. Well, if you push Io Sky, why did you not have Io Sky win the match? If you mention her in the same sentence as a push, then why in the world did you not give her the belt? That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense. But then I thought about it and I said, okay, they're drinking the same Kool-Aid as Vince McMahon because Vince McMahon never promoted any Japanese or Chinese wrestler because they said that they're not marketable because they can't speak English. So this is the reason why Io Sky did not get that belt. They didn't want to put the belt on somebody they can't market. So I don't understand why Triple H came out of his mouth and said that about Io and pushes when you didn't push her to win the title. She's on the same list as everyone else in the locker room that will not get a push. Jeffrey says, and people want to blame Jade for her title reign. When it was the same thing, yes, it's the same thing. Jade had a terrible title reign. She had a terrible title reign. Her title reign was abysmal. It was terrible. The same thing with Liv. Her title reign is abysmal. It's terrible. And you can't defend that. You just can't defend that. It's just there's just no wiggle room around that. So I'm gonna say here that something is amiss here, and somebody's being very hypocritical. He's also mentioned Rhea too. Yeah, again, like you said, like Io, like Rhea, and all these people, they get pushes. But the thing is, you can't keep pushing the same people. You need different people in that locker room. Anyway, folks, I'm gonna get off my soapbox here because this will go on all night, and I can't keep my audience up like that. So he also, yeah, I already read that. So okay, so getting back to Liv Morgan and Io Sky. Again, the match was fine. The match was all right for what it was. Great chemistry. There was really no fluidity. Some of these matches had no flow to it. It really had no fluidity. Some of the matches had no fluidity whatsoever. Very slow, very methodical in the beginning. They had to crank up the heat a little bit in the intensity department. But some of the matches had no fluidity in night number one. On an entertainment level, I'm going to give this match a 5. The match gets a 5, and that's the best I can do for it. The match gets a 5. It was all right for what it was. Io took Liv to her limit, but in the end, Liv retained, and there's really nothing I could say about it after that. There's really nothing. Jeffrey says, Damien's even mentioned Cody. Yeah, I mean, it's the same people getting the push, but I'm not going to get on. I'm not going to get on my soapbox with that. It just makes no sense. Jacob Fatu and Jay Uso and Jimmy Uso. LA Knight versus LA Knight, Solo Sokoa, and Royce Keys. Again, the match was fine for what it was, but I am sick and tired of them booking LA Knight and sandbagging him with all of this bloodline feud and this Jey Uso and Uso feud. I want to see LA Knight do something else. Now, he came out on Monday Night Raw and he wants to challenge Roman Reigns for his title. Will that happen? Will WWE pull the trigger? We don't know. We don't know. What I do know is that Roman is going to defend his title on an upcoming edition of Raw against someone from AAA, which is something that was announced by Rey Mysterio, the general manager of AAA. So I like the Gears of War entrance. Yeah, that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. So LA Knight and Solo Sokoa and Royce Keys defeated Jimmy Uso, Jey Uso, and Jacob Fatu. I don't want to see this again. I don't want to see these guys feuding again. I think it's a waste of time. It's a waste of booking. And we just want to see some wrestling out of LA Knight. Something new, something fresh. Just like the Usos. Just like Royce Keys. Just like Solo Sokoa. We want to see different people get different pushes in the program. Something else. Something else. Not that. I hope it's Penta versus Roman. Well, we're going to find out about that. So anyway, folks, on an entertainment level, I'm going to give this match, in the entertainment level, I'll give the match a 6. The match gets a 6. It was a good match. Don't get me wrong. I liked it. I thought it was interesting, but I think it's time to move on from these people. I think it's time to move on in these people and put all these people in different programs and make them feud with other people. You can't keep running back the same thing over and over again. It's not feasible. It's not feasible. Solo is coming into his own. Yeah, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing. It's just I don't know where the booking goes. I don't know where the booking goes, and I don't know where the booking ends. So, not sure what they're gonna do with it. So, and I hope that he is defeated. I hope that this ends the feud with Knight and the Bloodline because it is getting boring, very boring, very stale, very unapologetic, and it's just underwhelming. All right, Nick Aldis took on Gunther. Earl said no more, no bueno. No, that's right, if you will. No more. Nick Aldis took on Gunther. I thought the match was fine. I had thought in my predictions I wanted to see Nick Aldis win over Gunther, but that's not what happened here, folks. Again, the match had no fluidity to it. It was very slow. Some of the matches here were very slow. I mean, in the beginning, Gunther was dominant, and then when Aldis turned it around, they went back and forth with each other. This is absolutely one of the matches that I had thought Aldis was going to shine in the match because it's its debut, but that's not what happened. That is not what we got. Gunther was just too much for all this, and he put all this away in the match. And what happened after, what happened just 24 hours later? Well, we're going to talk about that in a minute. Um, all this wins, all this loses the match to Gunther, and I thought it was a good showing. The crowd chanted, "You still got it." At one point in the match, Aldis held his own in the match, and I thought that was a nice thing to see. His family came in, Mickey James's wife came in, the kids came in, and Aldis was given a standing ovation for his performance and effort in the match. So I'm not going to knock it, and because of all of that, I'm going to give this match a 7. The match gets a 7. Congratulations to Nick Aldis. He got into the ring. He stood with Gunther. It was too much Gunther for him. And then he was put to sleep. And that was the end of Nick Aldis for the night. Um, Jeffrey said, "We already know what Nick can do." I was impressed. I I was impressed again. Yeah, I never seen him wrestle before, Jeffrey, and I was impressed. I was impressed with what he can do in the ring. I held his own against Gunther, like I said. He took Gunther to the limit, but and in the end, it was just way too much Gunther for him, way too much, and he wins the match. All right, like I said, I give the match a 7 in the entertainment level. Fatal Influence defeated the Bella Twins and Paige. Okay, folks. Here's what happened in the match. Again, very slow match, no fluidity to it. I thought the match was all right for what it was. Fatal Influence, JC Jane and company. I thought it was all right for what it was. The match was fine. The match was okay. Brie Bella broke her scapula in the match. She broke her scapula, so she's going to be on the shelf too. So we got some women that's on the shelf now. Rhea is on the shelf, and Brie Bella is on the shelf. Afterwards, after the match, the Bellas turned on Paige as I said they would, and I predicted it was going to happen. I called it. It did happen. They are no longer associated with Paige. They kicked Paige out of the group. Nikki Bella attacked Paige after the match and said about her spot. Apparently, she was upset that Paige took her spot and became tag team champion. She didn't care for it. She came back and laid waste to Paige, and we have to see what happens with that. Um, yeah, we got one Bella back, and Brie is injured. Yep, she broke her scapula, and that's unfortunate. One fatal influence injury, Brie by the steel steps by accident. Yeah, I think that is how she broke the scapula and shoulder first into, excuse me, shoulder first into the steel steps, and that gave fatal influence the win. And Bree was holding her right shoulder when she left. They were trying to figure out what was wrong, what was the severity of the shoulder injury. Then they revealed that it was her scapula. She broke it. So Brie Bella is going to be on the shelf for a while. Um, so on an entertainment level, I'm going to give the match a 5. The match gets a 5 in the entertainment level, and that's the best I can do for it this time. The match gets a 5. All right, folks. So, all right, let's continue. All right. Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes and CM Punk for the WWE Championship. All right, folks. This match was marred by accidental Cody Cutter to referee Charles Robinson knocking him out of the ring. RKO. Cody Rhodes gets RKO'd by Randy Orton. We have to see what happens with that. CM Punk retains, and retain he did. And I kind of knew that was going to happen, and I was praying that CM Punk would retain here in this title match. The match was slow in the beginning, not a lot of flash in the pan. Not a lot of flash in the pan. This was a fight between Cody and Punk. Yeah, this match was actually was wild, and botch dive yeah. Cody Rhodes tried to CM Punk tried to do some kind of a moonsault from the top rope, and he missed Cody by a country mile. And everyone was talking about that. They nitpicked the match with that instead of focusing on the match sense of the match and focus on the match. Okay, so he missed the moonsault. Okay, it was not pretty. Like I said, the match was very underwhelming at times. The match was a little slow for me. I don't know how you all feel about it, but I thought the match was slow in the beginning, and then it picked up intensity. Referee gets wiped out. Orton comes in. He screws Cody out of the title with the RKO, and we move on in the program. I do not want to see Cody Rhodes again in another WWE title picture. We are done with that jazz. Cody Rhodes needs to find something else to do within the program of WWE's booking. You can't tell me all you know is to put Cody Rhodes in every single title match. It's not necessary. Cody Rhodes does not need the belt again. We don't need to see Cody Rhodes win the title again. It's okay. He had it. He kept it for a while. He won it. We know his story. He finished it. Let's move on. Let's move on and put Cody Rhodes in some other kind of booking. You can't tell me you can't find anything else for him in the booking department. Don't tell me that. Let Cody focus on Randy. That's what I mean. And I'm going to tell you something, folks. I don't care whether it's Money in the Bank or Saturday night's main event. You got to book Cody Rhodes versus Orton. It has to happen. And like I said, I don't care whether it's Saturday night's main event or you wait until Money in the Bank. I don't care where you put the match. I just want to see it happen. And I think it should happen very, very quickly. And I think you should book that very quickly as well. As far as the match goes between Cody and Punk, like I said, it was all right for what it was. It was okay for what it was. Do I want to see this again? No. No. I don't want to see it again. I don't think it's necessary to see it again. I don't. Doesn't matter. Doesn't no. So we have that going on. So based upon what I said here in this match, I'm going to give this match, I'll be nice. I'll give the match a 7. The match gets a 7 for what it is. And Cody and Punk really and truly brought it to each other. Even though the match was slow, it was overwhelming at times. It is what it is. It is what it is. 7 is fair. It is. It is, Jeffrey. I gotta give the match a 7. Match gets a 7, and that's the best. That's the best I can do for it. That's the best. So congratulations to CM Punk on winning and defending and retaining at SummerSlam. All right, folks. This match ends the show. It was Over Femi taking on Brock Lesnar inside Hell in the Cell. Now, folks, this match, I wanted more. I really wanted more. And the WWE really botched this feud for Over Femi and Brock Lesnar. Here's the problem that I had with this. First of all, Lesnar was supposed to attack Over Femi at the Night of Champions and cost Over Femi the crown, giving it to Jey Uso. But because Jey Uso got so much dislike when he won I believe it was when he won the Intercontinental title. I believe when he won I think that was it. I'm not 100% sure, but I think that was it. The WWE decided not to do that. They scrapped the plans, and they had no interest in giving him the crown at Night of Champions. So instead, they had Over Femi defeated Jey Uso in the match. All right. We then fast forward to SummerSlam. And this, like I said, this match was very overwhelming. The match had a lot of moving parts. Lesnar and Over Femi, again, they used the same shtick in the match, where Over Femi took all the moves Brock Lesnar did, and he made it impervious to pain. I don't understand why WWE booked it like that. I thought that was kind of lazy booking. We've seen that done before with Over. But anyway, they used it. I really wish they wouldn't, but they did. And this was another thing that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. That's like you use the same impervious to pain booking. I didn't think it was necessary. I didn't think it was necessary to do that. Okay. So you had him impervious to pain. All right. In the end of the match, Lesnar rips up the pads and exposes the wooden boards that is underneath the ring. Over Femi went there. I mean, Lesnar went there and did his move like the Undertaker and gave Over Femi a tombstone pile driver onto the pilings, onto the wood. And again, like I said before, I'll say it again, folks. Again, he kicks out and he no-solds the move. He kicks out and he's like impervious to pain. He walks it off. Jeffrey says this was the first time Lesnar used elbow pads because he was supposed to be slammed onto it, but Over missed it. No, he didn't miss it, Jeffrey. I'm going to explain. King says I just left a like. Thank you, King. Everyone in the chat, hit the like button. Okay, so he kicks out. He no-souls the tombstone. Over Femi then comes back and he used a fall from grace on Lesnar. Lesnar looks at the boards. Now, apparently, he was supposed to use the fall from grace onto those wood, for the pin and the win. But I think what happened here was is all that adrenaline and all that heat inside the stadium made over come down to reality, and I think it was a lot to pick up. I mean, Lesnar was 303, so that's a lot to pick up and to move around and to slam onto things. So I think it was a little taxing because it was I believe there was no air conditioning inside the stadium. So um, I I'm gonna say I'm going to say he was exhausted from picking up Lesnar all the time. And I think that's exactly what happened. Um, Brock did Tombstone with no knee pads, by the way. Yeah, he did. And Over just did what he needed to do to get over in the match. He gave him the fall from grace. He missed the boards. I'm not going to follow over Femi. He was exhausted. It was a lot to pick up. It was a lot to do. You're picking up a 303-pound person and dragging them around the ring like that when they're sweaty and that's hot and you're trying to do a match and try to be as entertaining as possible for the audience and the live event audience. So I can't blame Obafemi. I can't. He wins the match. Okay, so one thing didn't happen. There was a lot of missteps in this match. There was a lot. But in the end, Obafemi wins the match. And afterwards, I thought it was very classy of Lesnar to get on the mic and says, on the past, this is the future, and he raises the hand of Oba Femi. He said, come here, Oba. Come here, Oba. I had thought at one point Lesnar was going to attack Oba Femi again, and we're going to get this again. No, that's not what he did. That's not what he did. He brought over back. He talked about the past, the present, and the future. And Lesnar on the Pat McAfee show says that he is officially done with WWE. Lesnar said he is officially done. He is going to retire. He is done wrestling in the WWE. So apparently, Lesnar officially announced his retirement on the Pat McAfee show. We'll see. We'll see if that comes true. I'm going to miss Brock in the ring. Yeah, he gave us some moments, but like I said, folks, Brock has a lot of faults. He has a lot of faults because he doesn't have much in his repertoire. All Brock Lesnar knows to do is give you an F5, a German suplex, and a Kimura lock. That to me does not spell anything for me. It don't do anything for me because I've seen it already. I want to see something different, and we never got it. We never got it. However, Brock Lesnar absolutely was dominant in the ring. There's no doubt about it. He was something else. And Brock Lesnar is done. I hope he doesn't come back with WrestleMania. No, no, I don't think we're gonna see that. I don't think we're gonna see that, folks. I don't think we're gonna see that. Um, I don't think we're gonna see that, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. But Lesnar says he's done. Lesnar said he is done in the WWE. Excuse me. So, folks, that was night number one for SummerSlam. Oba is the next big. He is. He is. Oba is the next big thing. He is. I agree. I can't disagree with that. All right, folks. Okay, so that was night number one. All right, folks, let us go to night number two. Night number two, I felt was better than night number one. I did a poll on my YouTube channel and of course my and of course on X. I asked the fans which night did you prefer. A lot of people preferred night number two over one. Like I said, the matches in night number one had hardly no fluidity. It was very over, but this night number two started out with a shocking moment. Okay, we had what did Jeff night two? Yeah, we had we had a match. Okay, I'm gonna paint you a picture. We had a match. Sami Zayn took on Finn Balor to be the number one contender for the Undisputed Championship, currently held by CM Punk. All right. All right, folks. Here's what happened. Nick Aldis comes on the stage and he said, I have been reinstated as the SmackDown general manager and I want to do what's best for business. Same line as Mr. McMahon always says, what's best for business. All right. He comes out and he says, I'm going to add a man to this match. Did you see the look on Sami Zayn's face? Go back and watch it. Sami Zayn had no idea this was happening. Now, from what I understand from multiple sources, from what I understand, this was put together at the very last minute without Sami Zayn's knowledge. Sami Zayn had no idea. Now, I could be wrong. Maybe when they do Unreal on that after number 4, they did series number 3. Maybe when number 4, maybe I'll be wrong. But that's what I heard. I don't know if it's true or not. I don't know if it's live or it's Memorex. I can't confirm that, folks. But this is what I heard. All right. So apparently Sami Zayn did not know about what was going on with this match. I was like, likely, why Gunther in this match? Yeah, so apparently this was cooked up by WWE Booking and Triple H. All right, folks. So all of a sudden, Gunther's music hits. Now, I said to myself, I'm watching this, and I'm looking at it, and I'm calling the match, and I said to myself, I says, why in the world would Nick Aldis put Gunther in the match after Gunther defeated him just 24 hours later? I didn't make any sense. But anyway, he comes out, he shakes the hand of Gunther. Gunther goes down the aisle. All right, Gunther's been added. Now we have a triple threat. Hold the phone, folks. Hold the phone. We've got another participant. And this, again, Sami Zayn's face was credulous. He had a shocked look on his face like he had no damn idea what was happening here. What is happening here? So Finn Balor gets screwed. Zayn gets screwed. We now have a fatal four-way. Who comes out but Kevin Owens? Kevin Owens comes out. Sammy was shocked. All right. Yeah, he was. He had no idea this was happening. Sammy was like, yeah, exactly. Great emojis, Jeffrey. Sami Zayn had no idea what was happening. He had no idea. He had no idea, folks. He had no idea. I'm going to tell you something, folks. This probably was the most cooked up thing I've ever seen in my life. So Kevin Owens has been out for a vastly long time, and he's been out a year and some change. Out of WWE, not the exorbitant or over exaggerated years like some people have said on the internet. He's only been out a year and some change, and Kevin Owens has been out of action. He comes back after the surgery, and I feel so bad for Finn in this match. Got screwed over again. Yeah, well, again, they both did, Jeffrey. WWE screwed over Finn Balor and they screwed over Sami Zayn here. So Zayn pins Zayn in the match and gives him the Stone Cold Stunner, and that's it. We have a number one contender. People were up in arms about this, and they were like, how is it? How is it that a man that's been out some year and change comes back to WWE, he gets pushed in front of the line and gets a number one contenders match? It's just like what with Punk. Punk was out almost 3 months. He comes back, they strip the belt of Sami Zayn and put it on Punk. This is WWE, folks. This is WWE. You gotta know who you're dealing with here. Gotta know. What is it? And yeah, well, I'm gonna talk about that in a minute. So Kevin Owens becomes the number one contender. The match was woolly wild and all over the place. A fatal four-way has no disqualifications, no countouts whatsoever. And I thought it was very strange that WWE did this. It was very strange and bizarre. Now, I don't understand something here. This doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Why would you do this to Sami Zayn and Finn Balor? Why would you do that? Why would you take their spotlight away from them? Because they could have had a good match. The match could have been fine for what it was. And I just didn't understand. I just didn't understand why you did this. There could have been another way to introduce Owens back into WWE fold. You could have had it any other way. He could have came out and did a promo. He could have came out and interrupted somebody. He could have did what you could have thought something to do. But instead you choose to stick him in a match where you kept the shine away from Sami and from Finn. Made no sense. Made no sense in the booking. And KO's last match was Sami Zayn too. Yeah, that is true. Good stuff by you, Jeffrey. That is true. So KO pins Zayn, and he becomes the number one contender. All right, folks. On an entertainment level, and based upon what I'm saying here, on an entertainment level, I'm going to give a match a 6. The match gets a 6. It was nice to see Owens back in WWE after the injury, after the surgery, but you should have introduced him in a better way. You should have introduced him in a better way. And, you know, so the match gets a 6. I give the match a 6. It is what it is, folks. It is what it is. I thought that they could have introduced him in another way, but they didn't. So, all right. Baron Corbin and Trick Williams for the Men's United States Championship. SmackDown is looking strong with KO and Randy now on SmackDown. Yeah, we'll see how WWE does with them in the booking. Because They treat Randy Orton terrible in the booking. All they made Randy Orton do is do a run in and do an RKO, and then they make him disappear after that. That's all Randy Orton's good for, a run in. He's not good for anything else. But he was a multi-time champion. Just throwing that out there. All right, folks. All right. Baron Corbin took on Trick Williams for the United States Championship. Now, again, this booking made no sense. The match had no fluidity to it. Had no fluidity to it whatsoever. And when Baron Corbin came out of the curtain, all you heard was nothing. This man has been recycled, rewashed, pre-treated, and everything else that you could do to a human being in the booking. And he was the general manager of Raw. He brought the ratings down. They got rid of Corbin. They released Corbin. Corbin comes back. He tries to everything that they have done with Baron Corbin has failed miserably. The man has zero personality. He has no it factor whatsoever. He reminds me of Karrion Kross, a resting bitch face, and have no personality. That's all they have. They have an arresting bitch face, but they have no personality. It's dry as toast. There's just nothing there. There's just a wall. And when you see a plain wall, you don't dress it. If you don't know what to do with a plain wall, you don't dress it. You leave it alone as is. Mm-mm. And that's what Baron Corbin is. It's just terrible. To be fair, he's never had a personality. No, he didn't. Only like his lone wolf gimmick. Yeah, the lone wolf gimmick was fine. After a while, it was fine. The lone wolf gimmick was fine. But the other gimmicks he had just failed miserably. And this was proof positive of what I'm saying. When he came out of that curtain, there was no reaction to him whatsoever. It's just like with Big Cass. Big Cass comes back on Raw, no fan reaction, no shock and awe, no fanfare. It just comes out, he laid waste to G-Von Evans, and that was the end of it. And he walks away. It's the same thing with Corbin. No wow factor. There's nothing about him. The audience was not even gravitating to him. So it's just I just don't know. You like that Jeffrey dry as toast. It is. It's true. He has no it factor. It's just he has nothing to offer. You know what I'm saying, folks? He just doesn't have it. He doesn't have it. There's nothing of Baron Corbin that I could sit here and defend or say is good. It isn't. There's just nothing good. There's nothing good about Baron Corbin. It's the truth. I'm just speaking the truth, folks. But if you think differently than me, then that's fine. But he's dry. He just has no personality. He just has no wow factor. I'm just being honest for what I'm seeing. And I've been a wrestling fan for a vastly long time, and I know. So you're saying it's like watching paint, right? If you will. I mean, this was terrible. And the thing is, you put the belt on somebody that is as dry as toast, has zero personality, no it factor, but you still gave him the United States Championship. I don't get it. Trick Williams is over as heck with the audience. He should have retained the title. That's what you should have done at SummerSlam. That's what you should have done, not the opposite. But again, like I said, it's just my opinion and my opinion only. All right. On an entertainment level, I'm going to give the match a 5. The match gets a 5. And that's the best I can do for it. Match gets a 5. It is what it is. I was shocked when he won the United States. I was shocked too because, like I said, why would you put it on somebody with no personality? It makes no sense. It makes no sense, folks. It makes no sense. Doesn't. By the way, folks, before I continue, thank you for watching the Wrestling Experience. My name is Earl Cole, and please make sure that you body slam the like button. You body slam the like button, you subscribe today, and be a part of it all. And now Mello better win the championship off of the heel. Off of a heel. We'll have to see about that because he's not getting a push either. King says, awesome job, Earl. Thank you very much, King. So anyway, folks, that's what I feel about Baron Corbin, and that's how I feel about the match. The match gets a 5. Match gets a 5, and that's the best I can do for it. All right. All right. Chelsea Green wins the women's championship in a ladder match. Now, as I said to you in the beginning of the show, folks, Rhea Ripley suffered an injury at the Clash of Italy to the point where she had to have surgery. So Rhea Ripley is done. She is out indefinitely with the knee injury. That means she had to relinquish the title, and that means that Chelsea Green automatically is now the new women's champion. She will no longer be called interim. She is the champion, and this will be official on SmackDown on Friday night in Philadelphia. I'm sure Nick Aldis will make this official. This was a great surprise for Chelsea Green. I was so happy. So yeah, Chelsea Green was hung upside down. I totally forgot that she was even hung upside down in the match. The crowd wheeled her on. The crowd exploded in delight when she pulled down the belt. This was a huge pop when she pulled down the belt. People went bananas. People were crying in the audience. This was great for Chelsea Green. This was a well-deserved moment. She has done her due diligence in WWE with her character, and this was great. So congratulations to Chelsea Green on winning the ladder match and becoming the brand new women's champion. Like I said, folks, I believe WWE will address this on Friday night on SmackDown with Nick Aldis. Aldis will make it official. He will drop the interim title from Chelsea and make her official the women's championship. As I said, she did have to relinquish the belt because she's going to be out indefinitely. She had knee surgery, so we won't be seeing Rhea Ripley anytime soon. What was that? She rose up like the Undertaker. Yes, she did. Yes, she did. I forgot that she was hung upside down on the other ladder. And Chelsea got up like the Undertaker, like Jeffrey said, and she rolls up and she climbed the ladder. She pulled down the belt and she wins the ladder match. I had no problem with it. On the entertainment level, I'm going to give the match a 7. The match gets a 7, and that's the best I can do for it. This is the best I can do for it. All right. This is a match that I just didn't care for. So to Jade Cargill with her purple Prince gear was from Minneapolis. Yeah, she did. She did pay homage to Prince. Good stuff by you, Jeffrey. Thank you for pointing that out. Um, she gave an homage to Prince. Did Jade Cargill? She made a tribute to Prince by wearing purple. And because we were in Minneapolis, that was the home of Prince, the late Prince, and that was his home. And as you could see in the audience there in the U.S. Bank Stadium, all the seats were purple. All the seats are purple. And it's in honor of Prince. And I thought that was a very nice thing, a nice gesture, a nice classy move by Jade to do that. So that was good. All right, folks, here's one match that I just didn't care for. Danhausen and Dominic Mysterio in a human on the money pole match. This was stupid. This booking was dumb. And I want to tell you something, folks. What's wrong with WWE and their booking? Why are you doing this to Dominic Mysterio? Now, I'm not a fan of Dominic Mysterio, but here's the thing. The man at WrestleMania wins the Intercontinental Championship. He defeated Finn Balor by pinning Balor in the match and becoming the champion. Okay. All right, folks. Fast forward to SummerSlam 26, and you saddlebagging with Danhausen? I mean, come on, folks. What are we doing here? What are we doing? This match was dumb. The match was ridiculous. It was just I thought it was ridiculous. Now, if you like the match, that's fine. I'm not gonna trample, excuse me, I'm not gonna trample on your thought process. I'm not doing that. I'm not saying your way is not correct. If you like the match, that's fine. But for me, as a wrestling fan who takes wrestling very seriously, I don't think that this match was politically correct. I don't think this match shouldn't have happened. This was dumb. This was a dumb booking decision on WWE's part to book this match. It's embarrassing to Mysterio. He needs more than that. He needs more. Now, like I said, I'm not a fan of Dominant Mysterio. I love his father, Ray. I love him. I think he's a great luchador. I think that's why he belongs in the Hall of Fame. That's why he went into the Hall of Fame. But Dominic Mysterio should be booked better than what he's getting here. He really should be booked better. And I'm sorry, he should not be saddled back with Danhausen. This feud needs to come to an end and come to an end quickly. He needs to be feuding with something else in the program. And that's the honest truth. And Dominic is the AAA Mega Champion too. Yes, yes. He's a AAA champion, and you book him in this dumb, uninspired match, money on the pole match. I mean, this was dumb. This wasn't good. I didn't like it. I called the match. Yes, it was. I did call the match. And again, I want to thank. Speaking of you, speaking of the WWE, and speaking of the wrestling community, I want to thank the wrestling community from the bottom of my heart. You really and truly showed up and show out, and you made both streams successful this past Saturday and Sunday for SummerSlam, and I want to thank you for that. The views were fantastic. And I want to thank you for doing that. Again, from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank you all in the wrestling community. I think you all are fabulous, and you really showed up and showed out for me, and you really showed up, and you were, and I hope that you were entertained as much as I was calling these matches and analyzing these matches and breaking down these matches for you, because I love talking about wrestling. I'm very serious about the craft. I respect the business. And that's who I am when I come on here. I know I'm critical at times. I know that, but I have to do my job. I can't sit here and just say everything is sunshine and rainbows. It's not like that. It's not like that. Both organizations are not perfect. So I just want to say that. And speaking of Mysterio, Aaliyah Mysterio is coming to NXT too. Oh, okay. Okay. So we got all this Mysterio family branched out throughout WWE's landscape. Okay. Good stuff. Thank you, Jeffrey, for that. So, on an entertainment level, folks, on an entertainment level, I'm going to give this match a 3. The match gets a 3. This match gets a 3. I didn't like it. I thought it was a waste of time, waste of space on the pay-per-view. Match gets a 3. Sorry. If you want to raise it up higher than that, go for it. But for me, this match is a 3. The match is a 3. Um, Toro Housen for returning. Yeah, this was no bueno, folks. This was no good. This was no good. This is no good. All right, Chad Gable and Penta for the Intercontinental Championship. This was an emotional match for Chad Gable. He wanted to win the Intercontinental Championship in front of his hometown, his family, his friends, his relatives, and he did just that. Him and Penta went to war over the Intercontinental Championship. This was a good match. This was both men matched very well in the ring. It was a little slow in the beginning, not a lot of fluidity in the match. I would have liked to see a little bit more continuity in the match, a little bit more flow in the match. I would have liked to see that. But all in all, the match was fine. The match was great for what it was. And Penta and Chad really and truly showed what wrestling is all about. So congratulations on that. Yeah, this was an entertaining match. Chad versus Penta. Yeah, the match was entertaining. Match is very entertaining. I just wish it had a little bit more flow to it. But other than that, the match, like I said, was fine. So on an entertainment level, I'm going to give the match an 8. The match gets an 8. And that's the best I can do for the match gets an 8, folks. It was entertaining, hard hitting, Willie Wild affair, and when the smoke cleared, Chad Gable walked away out of SummerSlam with the Intercontinental Championship. So congratulations to Chad Gable on winning the Intercontinental Championship at SummerSlam. All right. All right, folks. This was the main event of SummerSlam 2. Night number 2. It was Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins. Yeah, an 8 for me too. Yes, Jeffrey, I agree with the assessment. The match gets an 8. Now, folks, let me ask you all something. On Eric Bischoff's podcast, Eric Bischoff called Roman Reigns overrated, and that WWE is stuffing Roman Reigns down our throats. Do you agree with Eric Bischoff's assessment of Roman Reigns? Do you agree with the assessment? Do you feel that Roman Reigns is becoming too much for you on WWE TV? And is he overrated? Is Roman Reigns overrated and too much on WWE TV? Do you think WWE is stuffing Roman Reigns down our throats? Nah, Bischoff, why would you say that? I don't know. That is what Eric Bischoff said. Eric Bischoff said on his podcast that Roman Reigns is overrated. And he's been shoved down everyone's throat. And if he went away from WWE, WWE would be lost. Yeah, I don't know if this isn't like This isn't like before. That's what I'm saying. See, I think Eric Bischoff is getting mixed up because I'm going to explain what Jeffrey is saying. I'm going to expound upon what Jeffrey's saying in the chat. When Roman Reigns first came out in WWE, he was under Vince McMahon. All right. When he was there, Vince McMahon really and truly loved Roman Reigns. He really did. And when I mean love, folks, he pushed Roman Reigns to the moon. Even though Roman Reigns was not ready for a title push, Vince McMahon made sure that the push happened. So what did he do? He shoved Roman Reigns down everybody's throat by putting him out there week after week after week after week after week. And this is what Vince McMahon did. This is what he did. He kept pushing Roman Reigns to the moon. Well, what happened? It quickly backfired and backfired in a bad way because when Roman Reigns won the Royal Rumble in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, because I was there for that event. I was in Philadelphia. I saw the Royal Rumble. I witnessed it with my own two eyes. Roman Reigns wins the Rumble, and I'm going to tell you something, folks. The crowd in Philadelphia that night was absolutely went bananas. They were furious. They were furious because Daniel Bryan was in the match, and they wanted Daniel Bryan to win the Royal Rumble, not Roman Reigns. And the crowd was absolutely angry. I had to get out of there because I knew the place was going to get ripped up. Roman Reigns absolutely shouldn't have won the Royal Rumble. Was the wrong booking decision. I disagree with Bischoff. I agree, King. I disagree. I disagree with what he's saying. Roman is barely there as it is. Yeah, that's true. That's true. You know what's crazy in 2014? The fans wanted Roman to win. You know that's crazy. In 2014, the fans wanted. Yeah, so the crowd didn't know what they want. The crowd didn't know what they want. All right. Go up. All right, let's fast forward a little bit. Roman Reigns has the title. He has the title for almost, what, 3 years, 4 years? And every Roman match, we had a bloodline interference. Ref goes down, same booking, same way. Ref goes down, Mom and Elsie come out. Everyone want to play in the match. Everybody helps Roman. And then Roman comes on WWE TV. I smashed that one. I smashed this one. You didn't smash anybody. You had help. This was Roman Reigns' booking every single time. We then fast forward to WrestleMania in Philadelphia. Roman Reigns' reign of terror and hostage siege over the WWE Universe came to an end when they put the belt on Cody and finished his story. All right. Fast forward to 2026. Roman wins the Royal Rumble. And I was one of those people that said, now I hope and pray that when he wins the Rumble, he does not do the same thing he did back in the past. Because that will be no good. You can't dial that back. All right. Yeah, 136 days. Yeah, yes, Jeffrey. Yep. So Roman Reigns became our champion for 136 days. And when WrestleMania rolled around and Cody Rhodes wins the belt, the reign was over. Fast forward to now. Roman Reigns wins the Royal Rumble. He becomes the number one contender. He defeats CM Punk at WrestleMania. He wins the belt, but this time Roman comes on TV and says, I'm different. I want to do it on my own. I want to show the world what I can do. All right? We now get Roman winning the belt. Are we going to get the same old? No. Roman, in this match, folks, did something he hasn't done in a vastly long time. He wins the match clean. He defeated Rollins clean in this match. The match in the beginning was slow. It was slow. I agree with everyone's assessment on that. The match was slow. It picked up in intensity. Now, look, listen. When the referee Sean Bennett got speared, I thought at this point in the match, we're going to get the same old lame booking. Here come the bloodline. They're going to come out. They're going to interfere. No. Nope. We did not get that. And I'm going to tell you something, folks. The ref bump worked. Why the ref bump worked in this instance is because they wanted to give more time to Roman and Rollins to showcase their athleticism and what they can do. And boy, did these two men deliver the goods. This match was absolutely pound and ground and amped up in the entertainment level and the fluidity level. Now, if you all felt differently than I did, then that's fine. I'm not going to trample on your thought process. But for me, this match was absolutely, it picked up in intensity. There was a lot of levels to it. There was a lot of layers to it. When the referee came to, he crawls back in the ring. Roman spears Rollins out of his shoes. He wins the match. They fist pound the Shield, and this feud is over. This is over. And I thought this was one of the matches. And I have to give Roman his flowers. No outside interference. He wins the match clean. And this was absolutely made my heart grow fonder. Just made my heart grow fonder because this was great. This was great. This was great, compelling stuff from Roman and Seth. I love this match. Yeah, I loved it. I loved it. These men knew. I just dropped the like button. Thank you, Garrett. Thank you, Garrett. Thank you for your energy, Garrett. I appreciate you. Garrett, thank you for your comment. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Seth Rollins did a Dean Ambrose lariat, and Roman did Dirty Deeds. Yep, they did. They honored Dean Ambrose by doing the Shield things in the ring together to each other. This was great. This was great. This was great stuff from both men. This was great stuff. So on an entertainment level, folks, this match gets an 8. The match gets an 8 from me, and this was great. This was a great way to close SummerSlam. I think what Eric Bischoff is saying about Roman is absolutely false. I don't think Roman is overrated. I don't think he's over. You know something, folks? I'm going to tell you something about Eric Bischoff. He is one of those old, bitter old men in wrestling because he couldn't hack it. He lost his ability to do anything and to and to produce anything good when it came to wrestling. Because when he was in WCW and he was the booker and the owner, he wasted the money. He wasted it. He squandered it. And he made WCW go out of business. That's what Eric Bischoff did. And I think ever since then he's always been critical of AEW. He's always been critical of the product. He always has something to say about somebody on his podcast. And that is what Eric Bischoff does. That's what he does. Earl, didn't see Dean Ambrose uh, in the middle of the mask between Seth Roman and Seth with the shield poles. No, I didn't see that, Jeffrey. I didn't see that. I didn't know that they put him on there. I didn't know that I didn't know that they put him on there. If his image was on the mask. But again, like I said, I disagree with Eric Bischoff. I disagree with his assessment of Roman. Roman wins the match clean. The match was won clean. And again, like I said, I gave the match a name. So, folks, that was SummerSlam. That was SummerSlam 2026. A show as a whole, I gave night one a B. I gave night one a B. Night two, I gave it an A minus. I gave night two an A minus. Because of the Danhausen match, I didn't care for it, so I had to give it a minus. An A minus for SummerSlam night two. Nah, I'm teasing. He wasn't there. Okay, Jesus. Okay. Oh, folks, you can't do it. All right, folks. So that was SummerSlam. That was SummerSlam 26. All right. Let's go to some wrestling news, and then we're gonna wrap it up with the AEW Dynamite, shall we? Gave it a story about Rhea. All right, here's something. Carmelo Hayes is reportedly not a priority for WWE and not one of the current favorites in the company. However, it was noted that there's no outstanding reason as to why Hayes was left off the SummerSlam card and the U.S. Championship match with Trick Williams and Baron Corbin, and that he does not have any heat in the company. WrestleVote said. Well, like I said, folks, yeah, damn you, Danhausen, yeah. Carmelo Hayes, folks, again, this is another man that's been over with the fans. I don't understand why WWE did this. Listen to me carefully. Why would you push somebody with no personality over somebody who is popular with the audience? That makes no sense. Carmelo Hayes should have been booked in this match, this U.S. title match. He should have went against Trick Williams, and he should have won. Now, I understand you don't want to put the belt back on him again, but I think that Carmelo Hayes deserves a second chance at the United States Championship. I really do. I think that he needs a lengthy title reign. He needs some kind of push. To leave him on the cutting room floor like that was absolutely a miscarriage of justice. I don't think that that's fair. I don't think that that's fair. I think you should not have sit there and said, well, you know what? I think Baron Corbin should deserve some kind of push. Why? Why? He's not popular with the audience. So I don't get what the flavor of the month is. I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense. You don't push somebody with zero personality and no connection versus somebody who is popular with the audience. You don't do that in wrestling. That doesn't make any sense. Booking wise, it don't make sense. So I think what should happen here is that Carmelo Hayes should challenge Corbin for the United States Championship. I would book it as Saturday night's main event, and I'd give Carmelo Hayes another chance at being a champion. In my opinion. In my opinion. And that's all I'm saying. Agree, Earl. Yep. I'm surprised no one came out during the Roman versus Seth. Yeah, I agree, Dro. Thank you so much for your comment, Dro. Hit the like button, Dro. Hit the like button, Dro. Thank you so much for your comment. I Roman wins clean, Dro. He won clean. All right, folks. So that's what I'm talking about here with Carmelo Hayes. I just think that it's a miscarriage of justice that you do that in the booking. All right. Triple H. Triple H. Dro says I just hit the like button. Thank you, Dro. Thank you so much, Dro. Triple H addressed the criticism towards WWE using the same talent in the main event spot. Triple H says, and I quote, "When somebody says, 'Why am I not in that spot?' I don't know. Are you more over than Cody? Are you more over than Roman? Are you more over than Punk? Or are you more over than Liv or Io? Get there. Make those crowd reactions happen. If you're not willing to earn that spot, you shouldn't have it anyway." But I don't agree with Triple H here. How are you going to get a spot in the main event if you don't push the person? And I think I know what's going on here. WWE is afraid. Listen to me carefully. They are afraid that if they push a certain individual that's not marketable or they don't feel is they're going to connect with the audience, they're not going to do it and they fear they're going to fail at it. But how do you know that if you don't push the person? How do you know that? You can't just sit back and assume. You can't sit back and assume the person is not going to rise to stardom if you don't push him. You gotta push them the right way. You gotta book them correctly. You gotta insert them in something correctly. You gotta do this correctly. Everything has to be attention to detail when you are doing a booking. And you should not be allergic. Listen to me carefully. You should not be allergic to trying something out. Try it out. There's a song that goes, "Try it out. Take a chance you can do it. Try it out." Try it out. Take a chance at it and try it out. Try it out. You never know what's going to happen. You don't know what you're going to get. You don't know what you're going to get. It's a hypocrite. What about LA Knight? Why? That's what I mean. That's what I mean. That is what I mean. It's just like with Sami Zayn. Why you say Sami Zayn is not marketable? Why do you don't want to push Sami Zayn? You know why? And let me tell you something. Sami Zayn was the main event with Kevin Owens at WrestleMania, and they won the tag team belts. That was your main event. And you're telling me he's not marketable, but you put him in the main event at WrestleMania? Come on now, folks. Come on. You can't make this stuff up. You can't make this stuff up. It just makes no sense. You're going to sit back and tell me that? You're going to sit back and tell me I'm wrong? Listen, folks, I'm not saying my way is a highway and you're wrong. If you feel differently, like I said, I'm not here to step on anyone's thoughts. But I'm just saying, in my heart of hearts, you shouldn't be a hypocrite. You should push the person when they need to be pushed. Try it out. Try it out. Do something. Triple H is absolutely wrong. You can't keep putting the same people over and over and over again in the main event spot and expect to sell tickets or to sell out a stadium or to sell out an arena. People get fatigued. They get tired. Their attention span gets smaller after a while. Because it makes no sense. You keep pushing this person. You keep pushing that person. And look what you did with the Vision. I mean, it's too much. Jeffrey said, and that's why some people call Triple H triple fraud. You can't make this stuff up, folks. You can't make this stuff up even if you want to try. I'm telling you, folks. I'm telling you, from this vantage point, I'm going to tell you this much, folks. I'm telling you this right now. If Triple H doesn't see what others are seeing, like fans are seeing, and they're getting tired of this push, WWE is going to be in big trouble when it comes to live event and TV sales and tickets, because you can't keep running back the same people. You can't keep dialing back the same people. You have to do something better, something different, something fresh outside of the box. You got to. That's the only way you could survive. No pun intended. You can't sit there and think that the status quo is the best option. It's not. It's not. TKO is slowly destroying WWE. They are. And another thing is that you have to answer to the board of directors. I get that. I understand that. But you have to understand something, that you need to stand up for your company and say, look, listen, I know wrestling. I've been in wrestling for many, many years. This stuff ain't working. And tell your writing team this stuff ain't working. Don't be afraid to sit in that room and say to that writing team, we've got to come up with something better because the old way is not working anymore. It's just not. You've got to push other people in that locker room. There's so many men, so many women that you could utilize and hone in on it and mold them into a main event status. But you refuse to do so. You sit on your hands and you say to yourself and the whole party in the room, we got to do the same old, same old. No. It just doesn't work anymore. It's not feasible. It doesn't work. It's uninspired and it's lazy. And again, that's just my opinion. It's like they are allergic to change. Yes, that's what I said. They're afraid. They are afraid that if they push this person or that person, if they sit in the room and they have a list of people, okay, here's who I'm thinking about today. Mr. X. I think Mr. X has charisma. I think Mr. X is great. I think he connects with the audience well. He's doing great in the booking. We should push him. No, we don't. I don't think Mr. X is going to work here. How do you know? How do you know Mr. X won't work if you don't push him? How do you know? First thing they got to do is get rid of Bruce Pritchard and Michael Hayes. Yeah, I think their ways are dumb. I think that they are antiquated. I think you need to stop listening to those two. And whoever's on the writing team too, I think you need to stop listening to them because you can't keep doing the same old, same old. Can't. It's not working. And if you can't see the way the fans are reacting with ticket sales and how expensive they are and how the low sales are going, I don't know what else. I don't know what else alarm bells I have to give to you. I don't. See, if I was running a promotion, and I had good wrestlers, I had good talent, I would take that talent and hone that talent. And I would work them to the upteen moon, to the crescendo, and I will make that audience like them. I would make sure that they had that it factor. Especially Michael Hayes on Chelsea Green. Yeah, well, he's a big fan of Chelsea Green. He pushed her. But now listen, I give Michael Hayes credit for pushing Chelsea Green. I give him props on that. Giving her the title, I believe, was the right idea. And make her win the ladder match and make her get a moment at SummerSlam. I had no problem with it. I had no problem with it. What I do have a problem with is that every week on TV, we see the same people in the same main event, doing the same thing, doing the same booking, same promos, same. It's too much. We've got to flip the script here. We got to flip it up, change it around, flip flop it around, and do something else. So, folks, that's that's my thoughts on that. Let's talk about um, put me and Earl on the creative team. Yeah, Jeffrey, I tell you something. If I was in that creative team, we would turn that ship around. Trust me. Trust me. And trust and believe me, I would show what needs to be shown. Because listen, folks, I have an opinion. All right. And I understand that there are other people that have difference of opinion as well. They have differences of opinion. We all do. And I'm not saying my way is the highway and my way is the best way and you're nothing. And no, I'm not saying that. I'm just having an opinion. And from what I see and what I'm analyzing and what I'm going over with you is that I've been a wrestling fan for a vastly long time. Like I said, I respect this business and I respect the people that work hard. And the people that work hard deserves a push. Not the same people week after week. There was other people in that locker room that are salivating at the fact that they could be in that spotlight and they could get that moment. You can't tell me you want them to go out there and do what? You got to push them. You got to believe in them. You got to endorse them. That's the only way you can get that push going. If you don't have that ringing endorsement, if you don't have that support system, you can't do it alone. You can't do it alone. You need endorsement. You need that nod. And that's just the bottom line. I kid, I kid. I would push that out. No, Jeffrey, no, not Dan Housen. No. I would put the world championship on Finn Balor quickly because it's too, yeah, again, like I said, all of these people, it's just far too long for these people to be crossed out and not being pushed as on a title. Far too long. You know, it's like, when is this going to end? Finn Balor's another person that has given his blood, sweat, and tears to the WWE. And why is he not in the championship picture? Why is he not in the overall picture? I'm going to tell you something, folks. It was up to me. I would put Finn Balor in in the Money in the Bank qualifying match. I'd put him in a qualified match. I would have him win the match. I would put him in that ladder match, and I would give that match to Finn. I really would. If it was up to me, Finn Balor would be your 2026 Money in the Bank winner, and I would be banking on that. No pun intended. I would. If I was the booker of Money in the Bank, if I was the executive producer of the Money in the Bank, and I wrote it, Finn Balor would be winning that match. He would have that briefcase because it's way long overdue. Way long overdue for Finn Balor. Good booking on Finn, Earl. Thank you, Jeffrey. I would. If I was running Money in the Bank and I was writing it, I'd have Finn Balor win that Money in the Bank. Hands down, I'd give him the briefcase. I would make him the number one contender with that briefcase. And let him, don't do a dumb cash in. Don't do a dumb cash in. Give him the opportunity and the right moment and let him get his flowers. That's what I would do. I'd make him tease everyone to think he's going to cash it in. And then when the right opportunity strikes and he's ready to do it, pull the trigger and give him the title and let him cash it in successfully. That's what I would do. That's what I would do. We make more sense than creative in 2 seconds. Yeah, it's true. And that's the way I feel. That is the way I feel. And I would have no problem with him winning that Money in the Bank and cash and take that briefcase and tease. Don't cash it in something stupid. Have him win the Money in the Bank and then let him continuously tease a champion because you don't know who he's going to cash it in on. Let him let the champions, let the top champions, the world champion and the undisputed champion, let them be comfortable. Let them be comfortable with their title reign. But just when they defend that belt on a night that it is big fight feel, he comes out, he cashes that Money in the Bank, and he wins the title handily. That's how you would do it. That's what I would do. That's how you do good booking wrestling. That's what you do. Don't do something dumb. Don't do something dumb. Logically. Think logically. Attention to detail matters. All right. All right, folks. So that is just That's my little thought on that. All right. All right, folks. RingsideNews.com. I have a story about All in London. A claim that AEW's All in London tickets were selling at just $1.50 spread quickly online this week, leading some fans to question demand for the company's biggest show of the year. Turns out there's more to this story. Screenshots circulated on social media appeared to show seats in sections 502, 503, 506 for just $1.50, roughly $2 USD, leading to criticism about AEW's ticket sales ahead of Wembley Stadium. There was just one problem. Those prices weren't available to the general public. The heavy discount tickets were a part of UK's Blue Light Card program, which offers extended deals to people working in the NHS, emergency services, social care, and other eligible public service roles. The promotion wasn't in AEW's wide price drop or a last-minute public sale, despite the impression created by the viral post. In fact, the discount blue light tickets are nothing usual in the UK. The program really partners with major concerts, sporting events, and festivals, offering deep reduction prices in eligible workers. Just weeks ago, fans used the same scheme and were able to buy Iron Maiden tickets for $1, while Guns N' Roses tickets were available for $2. Earlier this month, WrestleTix reported All in London has distributed 26,915 tickets for August 30th. The number will be behind the company's previous Wembley event in 2024. That made it easy for the $1.50 post to take on life of its own, with many assuming AEW had quickly slashed prices for everyone. That wasn't the case. The bottom line, while the image themselves were real, the story that followed them wasn't. AEW quickly sell Wembley tickets to everyone for $1.50. The offer was simply part of a long-running discount program reserved for eligible healthcare emergency workers. So who would you have? Okay, okay. Jeffrey has a question. Yeah, let's see what Jeffrey says. Who would you have for the women's Money in the Bank? Well, Jeffrey, that's a great question. You know what? She hasn't had she hasn't had a push. We could make okay. Do I read that? Okay, here's the thing with the women's Money in the Bank. There are possibly a couple of women I would think could be Miss Money in the Bank, and one of them is Roxanne Perez. I think Roxanne Perez deserves to be away from Judgment Day. I think she deserves a push. And if it was up to me, I make her win the Miss Money in the Bank. I think that would be great. I had Chelsea winning, but that's out of the window now. Yeah. I would say Roxanne Perez. I'd give it to Roxanne Perez. I would have Finn Balor win the men's match, and I'd have Roxanne Perez win the Money in the Bank, and then she can feud with Liv Morgan and tease her that she's gonna cash it in. I would make Roxanne Perez a baby face and make her get away from the Judgment Day, and then she is going to win the Money in the Bank, and then she's going to tease Liv to see if she really is gonna cash it in or not. That's what I would do with that. That's what I would do. I was thinking Roxanne because she can go after Liz. That's what I just said. I would make Roxanne Perez break away from the Judgment Day, and then I'd have her win the women's Money in the Bank, and then she comes out the next night on Raw, and Liv is nervous because she knows that she can cash in on anybody, but it's not a cash in. She's teasing her with it. I would tease her with it. I would tease her with it. And if Roxanne wants to become a champion and take it off her lips, so what? She does it at the appropriate time, not a dumb cash in. Not a wasted cash in. I don't want to see a wasted cash in on both things. I don't want to see it wasted. If Finn wins the Money in the Bank, I don't want to see it wasted. And if Roxanne wins, I don't want to see it wasted either. It's attention to detail. You gotta keep teasing it, build it up until the right moment, until the crescendo hits the ceiling. Then you pull the trigger. I like the way you think, Earl. Yeah, thank you, Jeffrey. It's the truth. It's the truth. It's all about attention to detail. You have Finn win the Money in the Bank. You have Roxanne win the Money in the Bank. You make them hold those respective briefcases for their respective feuds. And you make them tease it. You tease them with it. You tease them with it until the crescendo hits the ceiling. And then at that moment on that big stage, on the big event, then you pull the trigger. Then you pull the trigger. It's all about attention. It's all about laying down the grass and the water and let it grow. That's how wrestling booking should work. That is exactly how wrestling booking should work. You lay down the grass, you put the water, you let the grass grow. You don't hurry up and praise the weeds and get the tree. No, you got to lay the grass down first. That's the way wrestling booking should work. All right. So getting back to the story I was reading from WrestlingNews.com, apparently AEW is charging $1.50 for All In, but that is for emergency workers and first responders and everything else. And the audience thought that AEW was reducing their prices to that level. It's not for them. It's for the people in the UK who are first responders. And this is what AEW is doing, and this is what the UK has in place for their responders to attend events. So I don't have a problem with it. I have a problem with it. Roxanne can hear Liv. Roxanne can hear Liv trash talking about her, and then she cashes in on her by surprise. Well, that could work too. I mean, whatever works. I mean, you could have Liv defend the title at a major event. Have Liv make a major event. The week prior to the event, you do what Jeffrey said. She comes on Raw, she transfers Roxanne Perez, and she talks about the cash in and all that. Okay, we get to the big event, whatever it is, whether it's it would probably be the Royal Rumble or WrestleMania, and she talks about Roxanne. She comes out the next night. Liv puts the title on the line against, let's say, she puts the title against what's her name? Let's say it's Becky Lynch. All right, let's say it's Becky Lynch. She puts the title up against Becky Lynch. It's the Royal Rumble. Let's paint a picture here. She goes on Raw, the go home show, and she bashes Roxanne. Okay. We get to the match. Liv retains. You do not let her win the belt. You don't. Becky Lynch does not win the belt. You give it back to Liv. Liv retains. All right. Liv retains. All of a sudden, Roxanne music hit. She comes down with the briefcase. She brings the referee. She gives the timekeeper the match. The match begins. Liv is already exhausted because she's already danced. She's already danced with the man. And before you know it, Roxanne does the pop rocks and she wins the belt in front of the audience. And that is the way you end the match. I don't have a problem with it. I don't have a problem with it. I don't have a problem with it. And you build it up until the Royal Rumble. You build it up to the Royal Rumble, or if you want to hold on to it for longer, okay, WrestleMania 43. But I think the Royal Rumble is fitting. You have Liv defend the belt against Becky Lynch. Lynch loses the belt. I mean, she loses the match to Liv. Liv retains. Liv retains. Now remember what she said about Roxanne Perez on Monday Night Raw after she cut the promo. Roxanne's music hits. She comes out. She has the briefcase. Liv is exhausted. She has no idea what's going on. She cashes it in. The bell rings. Liv gets all confused, and Roxanne lays waste to her, and she finally puts her away with the pop rocks, and she wins the title, and we march forward in the program. I don't have a problem with it. I don't have a problem with it. I don't. It builds anticipation. Exactly. Exactly. Love it, Earl. Thank you, Jeffrey. That's what I said. You keep, like I said, when it comes to booking, you have to be strategic. You can't just force everything into the pipeline. You gotta lay the grass out first. Then you start building the seeds of doubt. Then the water comes in, and that seed starts to grow that grass of doubt. When the grass gets tall and the grass gets wide, then you use the lawnmower. That is the money in the bank. Liv takes on Becky. She's exhausted. She's confused. The music hits. She cashes in. She wins the belt. And we get to move forward in the program. Jeffrey says, Liv wants Roxanne to jump Becky with the briefcase, but she hits Liv instead. Well, yes. That any which way works. Any which way works, which is brilliant, by the way. Oh, that's a great idea, Jeffrey. That's a brilliant idea. All right. You don't make her a baby face yet. You don't make her a baby face yet. You wait for that moment. All right. Liv takes on Becky Lynch at the Royal Rumble. Roxanne is the briefcase holder. Okay. She comes down to the ring like Jeffrey says, and she instructs Roxanne to hit Becky Lynch with the money in the bank. But what she gets instead is a babyface turn. She hits Liv with the briefcase. She gives it to the referee. Referee rings the bell. She gives her the pop rocks, and we have a brand new women's champion. That's brilliant. That's brilliant. I love it. I love it, Jeffrey. I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm telling you, folks, if this would only happen like that, it would make it. I would be so salivating on it. Put us in creative room right now. Yes, I love it. I love it. You got to do your due diligence when it comes to booking. You've got to do your due diligence. Like I said, folks, I've been a wrestling fan for over 3 decades, and and I'm not saying my way is the highway. I'm just giving you a fantasy, a booking fantasy that could work if you would just do your due diligence and work for that moment. It's not that hard to book. No, it's not. No, no, it's not. I mean, you just have to know. You just have to know the layers of the booking cake. That's all. Attention to detail. Working slow, not fast. Plant the seeds. Get the weed. It's not that hard, folks. It's just it. All right, folks. Here's a story about Bailey. Bailey got an unexpected mention on WW on Thursday's WWE main event, and fans are taking it as a sign she's returning to TV. During Lyra Valkyria's match, when Lynn Sinclair announced Blake Howard wonder if Valkyria has seen the last of Bailey in a rare move. Vic Joseph acknowledged that their recent run-ins at WWE live events in California, the kind of thing WWE commentary usually ignores, that combined Bailey and Valkyria brawling at a house show in Stockton and Bakersfield strongly suggests Bailey returning to continue the feud after Valkyria appeared to write her off on July 18th, Saturday's main event. Here's the catch, though. Reports indicate Bailey's contract expires at the end of the year, so a TV return does not actually settle their uncertain future. A few blow off can be sent off just as easily as a fresh start. So this is Bailey's new beginning or the final chapter before she leaves. Um, I don't know what's going on with Bailey. I have no Earl. Before I wanna before I go, I want to say congratulations to Bianca Belair and Montez Ford. And yeah, congratulations to Montez Ford and and of course Bianca Belair on their baby boy. And congratulations to Bianca. She gave birth to a baby boy, and this is great. Congratulations to Bianca and her family. I think this is great. And Jeffrey, thank you for your comment. I hope you have a good night. Enjoy your weekend. Be well. Be safe. I'll talk to you soon. Um, so I think we need to wait and see what's going on with Bianca Belair. I think we're gonna wait and see what happens. I mean, not Bianca Belair. I mean Bailey. We'll have to see what happens with Bailey and her contract situation, folks. We have to see what happens. The way she attacked Lyra Valkyria in both house shows. I know some fans indicate, oh, she's going to return to TV. No, but she's contractually obligated to be at those house shows. Her contract is not up until the end of the year, so she's contractually obligated to show up and to have a run-in with Lyra Valkyria at both house shows. So that is what Bailey is supposed to do before her contract runs out. So before you all speculate that she's going to return to TV, we don't know. We don't know what's going to happen with Bailey, but we have to have a wait and see. Oh, I already read that. Okay. Here is Carlos Gill 83 on Twitter on X. He says WWE is so rigged and scripted. Only in WWE can Kevin Owens miss. He didn't miss 2 years. It's a year and some change, folks. He got that wrong. Come back from come back for one match and suddenly he's the number one contender for the world championship. Bro, skip the line, skip the entire line and went straight to the front like no, like none of the other wrestlers exist. And you all expect me to believe this is fair. I agree with I agree with what he's saying here. I mean, it was bizarre to have him come back. It was bizarre to have him come back and be the number one contender, but that's what WWE wanted. So I mean, they could have introduced him to something else, but okay. All right, folks, that was wrestling news. All right, folks, that was your wrestling news. That was your wrestling news, folks. That was your wrestling news for tonight. All right, folks, before I go, I'm going to quickly give you my synopsis on Grand Slam Mexico. I thought it was great. This was the second annual Grand Slam Mexico. Last night in Arena Mexico, CMLL's Arena Mexico. I thought the show was great. I thought everything was great. The matches were fine. Great job by Tony Khan and crew last night as we get closer and closer to All in London on Sunday, the 30th of August. And this was great. This was good stuff by Tony Khan. The show was solid. It was a good show. It was a decent show. I don't have any problems with what we saw last night. MJF returned. He took out Andrade El Idolo. Don't think that Tony Khan's not going to sign this contest with El Idolo and MJF at All in London. I believe we're going to be getting that match. Um, we have we we have new trios champions. Of course, Brodito brought back the cowboy, and they win the trios championship. Hangman Adam Page and Brodito are your new champions. They defeated the Demand last night in Grand Slam Mexico. I thought that Kyle Fletcher had a good match with Speedball Mike Bailey. I knew that Bailey was not winning the belt, and of course he retained. Willow Nightingale pinned Mercedes Monet in a match. So I thought that was a tall tale sign. Maybe Mercedes will get the women's title. Maybe they'll take it off of Willow and give it to Mercedes. I don't know what's going to happen with that match. That match could swing either way at all in London. Gonna have to see about that. Will Ospreay had a match with and it was a street fight. He had a Mexican street fight. I thought the match was Mark Davis. I thought that was a wild, woolly and hitting affair in the match. All the blood from Will Ospreay and so much more. So, folks, that was Grand Slam Mexico. Like I said, the show was great. The show was solid. I'm going to give the show a B. Going to give the show a solid B. And this was a good stuff. This was the second annual Grand Slam Mexico. It was done well by Tony Khan and company. So I can't wait to see Grand Slam I can't wait to see All in London on Sunday, the 30th of August. All right, folks, that's going to do it. That is going to do it for me in the wrestling experience. I want to thank you all for watching. I did invite AK to be with me here tonight, but unfortunately, I believe he had other obligations to do, so he couldn't come on here tonight. But thank you again for watching tonight's telecast. I greatly appreciate you. I want to thank you for all the likes, the subs, the views, and everything else in between. You rock as a community, and I greatly, greatly, from the bottom of my heart, appreciate it. Thank you for the support. Thank you for all the love that you've given me over the past years, through and through, my loyal soldiers. And thank you to everyone that was in the chat tonight. I greatly appreciate you. And thank you for your comments, your thoughts, and your opinions on tonight's show. Until then, everyone, make sure if you watch the encore presentation of this show, you do the thing down the bottom here and you hit that, you body slam that like button, folks. You body slam that like button because it's so critical that you do. I'm Earl Cole, ladies and gentlemen. Have a great rest of your Thursday night. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you soon in cyberspace for more wrestling action and content. As I said, folks, as I said before, I'll say it again. Save me a great ringside seat, and I'll talk to you soon. Have a great weekend, everyone, and I'll talk to you. Good night, everyone.